Hello, everyone. We're just going to give everyone a couple of minutes to join. Perfect. I see everyone rolling in. That's awesome. Cool. Couple more minutes. I think we're halfway there. So we have a big group today. Welcome. Everyone's trickling in. We're just giving everyone a couple of seconds. All right. I think we can kick it off. Perfect. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. As you know, this is going to be a regular product update that we're doing on a monthly to a couple of weeks basis. So we're very excited to have you all join. We had our last update in February on the 28th. And so we're doing a bit of a recap as well. It's the first Tuesday of the month. So today I'm joined by Tina Gerbisa. She is an industry expert with our fund operations clients. She has worked with them and in the industry for a very, very long time. And so she's going to bring in some insights with regards to a couple of things we have launched and a couple of things we are going to launch and how that will bring value to your team. I'm also joined by Andrew Anderson. He was in the last webinar as well. And he is going to be giving us an API run through. So a lot of the feedback we had gotten from our last demo was that you really wanted to see some more live demos. We'll be doing that today. We're very excited to show you all our new sneak peeks and all of the products we have recently launched. So everyone is joined. Yeah, we're good. All right, let's kick it off. So before we get started, just a couple of housekeeping items. As per usual, you're going to get an email with a link to download this deck afterwards. Feel free to share it to all your teams, users, cross-company. We don't mind at all. Everyone is more than welcome to have a look at what we are launching and chatting about. The recording will also be available. It takes some time, so keep an eye out for that. We'll send that through too. And then as we kind of run through all of the different features and the updates, please make sure to throw your questions in the Q&A. We got so many last time that we were not able to run through all of them, but we do answer them. So if anything is not answered, we actually have a little list afterwards, and we make sure that the CSMs reach out to you or someone on the product team can reach out and we can give you answers to those questions. So please make sure you fill those in. And then we'll send out a regular survey just asking for your feedback again. Like I said, last time we got a lot of feedback asking for live demos, so we've already incorporated that. We want to hear what you want to see in these demos, so please make sure you fill those out as well. All right, and then additionally, on the next slide, Andrew, you can just move through there quick. One very, very exciting thing to mention is that in May, I believe it's May 6th to 9th, we will be at the CLOC in Las Vegas. Our team will have a booth there. If you are attending or your team is attending or anyone that you know of is, let us know. We have a QR code up, so if you want to just take a couple of seconds, if you will be there or you're interested in learning more, please scan it. We want to know if you're coming too, so we can meet up with you and maybe give you some Athennian gear or meet up for drinks. We love meeting with our clients, so make sure you take some time to scan it. There will be another QR code at the end of the deck too, but we hope to see you there. All right, so what we're going to cover today, we're going to go through a recap of recent updates, everything we've launched. Today is a very exciting day. We've launched our API, so anyone who has signed into the application as of this morning would have seen a little pop-up about the API news. We'll be going into that in detail. We're also going to do a feature spotlight. So this is new. It's a bit different to last the last update that we did. We just want to highlight a couple of features that are very key to our clients, get more kind of visibility into what we offer and how it can work for you. So we'll be running through that. And then we're going to run through what is coming soon. So again, very similar to last month, I'm going to be talking through what we will be updating in the very near future. Some exciting new things are in the works for us. And then we're going to go through examples of how these workflows will impact you and your team. Tina's going to speak to that from a fund ops perspective, and then we will end with a Q&A about 10 minutes. So hoping to run through everything. We have a lot to cover today. If you cannot join for the full meeting, again, we'll send out the recording so you can watch it, but we really hope that you can stay for the full hour. All right, so let's kick off with our recent updates. First things first is the API, as we mentioned. We have recently launched it. We kind of tackled two themes this quarter or this month. And that is driving connectivity, which is the API, and then improving navigation. So moving into the API slide, we're very excited. The Scale Your Data Management is now there for your team. It is available. Everyone who has API included in their plan will be able to access the API. It's kind of built in and embedded into the access section. It acts as a user. It has different roles, so it could be an admin or a user in terms of how you set everything up. You grant it tokens, and it will have access to key sets of data. Now, in terms of the API, I'm going to hand it over to Andrew. He's our technical expert. I'll let him kind of run through the slide and then do the demo for us. And then you're going to see it in action and how it can benefit your team. So, Andrew, I'll hand it over to you.
All right, thank you, Charlotte. Hello, everyone. First, a quick shout out to the Athennian team. We've worked really hard to create this feature, and I think it's going to be really beneficial for you. So, yeah, let's get started. I'm going to demonstrate the value. It comes down to two parts: getting data into and out of Athennian in automated and fully automated and customized ways. So, for example, let's say I have a sales team. My sales team has just acquired entities, and I need to create those entity records in Athennian. But that data is scattered across multiple apps and teams. So without the API, my team would need to manually consolidate and then use one of our manual options here on the screen, and essentially copy and paste hundreds or thousands of data points for each entity. And that compounds over time as new data continues to flow in, or I need to also update existing entity data. And the bottom line here is that this creates the risk of delays, fees, inconsistencies, and distractions. So we want to eliminate that with the API. So what the API is it essentially can be accessed through queries, which your engineering team would use to create custom integrations between Athennian and any of your apps that you want to integrate together. So I have some examples on my screen here. In this query, I'm going to create some entities and people. Next, I'll create some documents, followed by some addresses and affiliations. So now when we come over to Athennian, we'll see those new entities here in my list, and I'll click in on one of them so we can see some of the data. Here's some of the general overview data for that entity. Here are the new addresses, both shared addresses and profile addresses. Here we have our registrations for the domestic jurisdiction and for the others. We can also create security classes, and here are some examples of what we just created there. And here are our new affiliations. We have three types: the agent affiliation, a shared address again, and principal affiliations. And finally, here are the new documents we added to the minute book. So that's the first part, and this process can just continue automatically as, again, new data streams in or you need to update existing records. But now that we have our data in Athennian, we can also create integrations that automate the process of getting data out of Athennian For example, if we want to create more comprehensive reporting that combines Athenian data with all of your other data sources from your other apps, you can do that through integrating with our API. And these comprehensive reports could go to teammates or leaders or clients. So for example, without the API, your team would need to, again, manually consolidate, export the spreadsheets of the Athenian data, and then also if there were any files that you would need to get those as well manually. But with the Athenian API, we have queries again to get that data for you. So I'll just give you an example of what that looks like. Here's an example of some of the text data we can get for our entities. And here's an example of getting an actual file. And what you can then do is, through your integration, your engineering team can consolidate that with any other data and share and provide that to your teammates and leaders and clients whenever and wherever they would like it, on whatever type of cadence that you would like to. If you want it to sync weekly or daily, you can just program that through your own custom integration. And that concludes our introductory demo of our API. We're really looking forward to helping you all scale your businesses. And if you have any questions, please put them in the chat, like Charlie said, and we'll be answering those during and after the webinar. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Andrew. We're very excited. Yeah, and I just want to speak to a little bit of the value Andrew has shown us as well today, because it really is opening so many doors for our clients. And hold on, let me share my screen quickly with everybody. I'm just gonna say share screen. We're just switching over so that I can now share with you here. Perfect. And show this window. Can everyone see the Open API slide? I hope you can. Andrew, can I get a yes from you, just in case?
Yes, I see it.
Okay, perfect. So the value this is going to bring to teams is astronomical. We are so excited about this. Andrew had kind of shown a little bit with regards to how we can read information and add information to Athenian in bulk. This is available in multiple sections. So we have opened the API to entities, people, our registrations and affiliation section, our addresses, as well as our securities. We have share classes available now. Securities will be coming in the next few weeks. And we can read and write documents, which is huge. So whether you're importing licenses for people, or if you're sending through minute book documents or signed documents from different systems, if you have multiple databases or sources of information in different locations that you kind of need to bring into one space, and the manual tasks of doing that on a day-to-day basis is just too time consuming and not cost effective, this can really help scale your processes. So this is available for professional and enterprise plans only. If you have any questions with regards to how to get this, how to set it up, how much it costs, please reach out to your CSM. We have everything set up for you. We will also have landing pages and that kind of thing that we can send through to your teams if you want more information. And likewise, if you would like a demo as well, let us know, because we can go in depth, give you a couple more insights into how it could work with you and your team. We have a fund ops client that has just recently started using the API for exactly this reason. They want to kind of bring in multiple entities and transactions because they have so much work and they want to save their team time so they can focus on what really matters and making sure that the information is good to go and sharing with stakeholders. So we're really excited, and thank you, Andrew, for that demo. That was awesome. So to keep going, I'll just quickly share through here. The next thing we want to touch on is what we have kind of labeled as a fixathon recap. So last week, our engineering team, which is about 28-person team, dedicated an entire 5-day sprint to fixing as many bugs as possible. So We really wanted to share the love. We know our clients are very important to us, and often with SaaS products, there are bugs, especially as you release features. And so we wanted to get our system up to a good and healthy point, and we did a great job. So more communications are going to come in the next update as to what we fixed, how much we ran through, but I just wanted to give the team a bit of a shout out, put some faces to the engineers that you always hear about. Here we have our kind of back-end team. They're called the pixelators, and then we've got a team in Ukraine as well that help us out, and I just wanted to give them a little bit of a spotlight so you know who's behind all the good work that gets put into the weekly sprints. All right, so monthly features spotlight. Again, this is new. I wanted to run through a little sneak peek of a feature we had launched a couple of months ago, and just bring it to surface again, because there has been a lot of questions that have come through, interest that has come through. So I thought this would be a good time to show everyone what it does, what it can do for your teams. So we have the custom fields feature available for professional and enterprise packages. What this does is within an entity, it allows your team to add custom fields to entities to store data that may not be available in spaces in Athennian today. And we can store many types of data. So we could store things like pick lists, yes or no fields. We can also do checkboxes. We can do text fields. So if you need something very specific that your team uses to manage data or your team uses to communicate, let's say it's a very specific lawyer note, or maybe it's a fund name or an EIN number or FATCA classification, we can start storing this data in Athennian for you. You can report on it, you can bring it into your documents, and you can connect it to the API as well. So for example, if you're doing CTA filings or that kind of thing, and you need a CTA exemption box, yes or no, we can track that. If you have things like maybe you have specific warehouse numbers that you need to track, or matter numbers that links to other data sources, we can track this in there as well. Maybe project names, all of that. So we can report on this, we can send it through back and forth, we can update it via the API. So if you need the API to update the field in Athennian, we can do that as well. But what I wanted to do is just highlight this, and I'm actually going to go in and show you what all of the latest customization features look like in Athennian and how they function, with regards to everything kind of in one, and custom fields will be included in this too. So I'm going to give you a quick demo just now, but running through what's coming soon first. We had mentioned this in our last demo as well, or our last product update. Custom roles and section level permissions are basically done. We're very, very excited for this feature. We know it's going to bring a lot of value, but we wanted to call out that this feature is going to be launched as a beta feature. So it will only be available to professional and enterprise packages. Athennian will be managing the feature kind of roles and settings on the back end. So there's going to be a request process that kind of gets put through with regards to setup and management, what kind of roles you want. I'm going to be doing a demo again in a couple of minutes, just showing you how all of this kind of plays in, but it will be available and your teams will be getting more information very soon within the next few weeks with regards to who can access this, how it can be accessed, and what steps we'll be taking with launching it. So it is ready, but it will be launched as a beta feature, and more information will be sent through for it. It's going to really enable your tax and finance teams to get set custom roles when accessing Athennian. We can hide different sections within entities so that if you do not want someone to see securities or the minute book, you can set that as a custom role, apply to that user so that when they sign in, they can read or use data, but only the data at the level you define or specify for them. So it's going to be huge. All right, now I'm going to try do this. Sorry, guys. I'm going to stop showing my screen for just a second, and I'm going to click on this just to open a new window. And then I'm going to try again. All right, can everyone see that? Can you see my screen? Okay, perfect, Tina, great, thank you. All right, so I'm gonna walk you through, and I know this is a lot, but we wanna do the demo as well for you all. I want to show you what the future of customization in Athennian is gonna look like when custom roles comes out as well. So this demo is taking into account all of the new custom level roles, custom edits, sections, entity overviews into one, as well as the custom fields, and what it can look like for your team as a whole if you decide to use all of this functionality. So we're going to start with the tour. But the first things first is the edit column. So you can customize those entity list columns, as you know. You can set this up at whatever level you'd like, so that when you sign into Athennian, if all you want to see from your entity lists is the client number, maybe you want to see entity tags, the name, the type, you can set that up. Maybe you don't want to see the status of the entity, or maybe you don't want to see the minute book number. You can remove that from your view. That will be your set standard view as a user when you sign in, so that once you have those labels set up, as you can see here, I have very specific labels set. You're only going to see those labels. So here I see the status, the name, the type, the client number, minute book, and the home jurisdiction. This can be tailored, it can be tweaked at the user level, so it's completely customizable. And again, it's included in the professional and enterprise plans. The next thing we also have is, if you do have the edit display within your entity overviews, you have the ability to edit exactly what an entity overview will show you once you open an entity at your user level. So it applies to all entities, but you can come in and tailor that. So what we have here is, in this entity, we currently see everything, but what we would like to see is just the entity type, maybe the fiscal year end. We only want to see the formation dates and the home jurisdiction. Maybe that's it. Maybe you're a part of the tax team and you only need to see the following information, or maybe you're an attorney that signs in, or you have clients that sign in and they have very specific sets of details that they want to see in entities. You can set that up for them. A lot of our clients also use this as part of their training process, so they get them individual custom views as you're training your lawyers and your users and your paralegals with how they use things. So it gets them used to Athennian as well. Once set up, that overview changes, so that display is set. That's your standard setting across the board. And now whenever I go into any entity, that same view will be applied. So you can see whenever I open anything, that's what I'll see. And I can always go in and change that as well. Now, the next thing is custom fields. And as we had mentioned, it is a feature that is very, very valued by our teams, especially our front ops teams. And you can access it if you have custom fields at the custom fields section. The administrators set these up. So it's not free for all. The administrators will set up what fields their teams can have. And then the users, when they sign into entities, will see what's available. So once you click on custom fields, you have the ability to set these up in lists. You can lock them, you can make them required, and you can activate or deactivate them as well. So when we hit next, this is kind of what you'll get in terms of the structure. You set up a label. This is what the user will see below the field, letting them know what information is stored. The data type, whether it's a number, whether it's a text field, whether it's a very specific kind of amount of digits that you want to fill in for a number. And then you'll also be able to add in whether it's required and whether it will be able to be reported in custom reports. So if you don't want it reported, you don't have to push that through. And then in case you wanted to add additional information, you can add a little tooltip that when you hover over the field, it lets the user know what that field is used for. So here we have an example. This is a bit excessive. We have tons of custom fields in this entity, but as you can see at the bottom here, it lives within the general section. And in this case, I have added a custom field called fund name. And I want to list the projects that maybe this entity pertains to. I can set a preset amount of project names that needs to be selected, or I can leave it as free text if I wanted to have the project name added in. You can add things like VAT numbers, DUNS numbers, and then as well, we have our check boxes. So if an entity is CTA exempt or non-exempt, you can select this here. You can also get the API to update it. So if the API sends through or pushes through a query with a partner, they can update that entity for you too, and make sure that the custom field is applicable and accurate in the entity. Again, we have a ton of them in here. We sell them in packages of 5, and 5 is kind of our middle ground number. We were finding anything less than 5 gives you no opportunity to grow your fields if you have more that you might need. A lot of our clients are scanning as well, so they need some extra information when they're working with other teams to live in the entities. So you can add 5 at a time. If you are interested, let your CSM know, and they can chat to you about how to get access to this. And then they can walk you through setting it up as well. All right, now the final thing, and thank you for everyone for sticking through. We gave you demos, that's what you asked for, so we hope this is helpful. But the final thing we want to run through is custom roles. So again, this is a beta feature. More information will be coming. It is not live just yet, but it is done and complete on our end. So communications will be coming out, but what you'll be able to do is set up, again, custom roles for your users. So in this case, I have as a base in this custom role access section, a finance team view and a tax team view. And with the finance team view, what I've done is you can see here to the left, I have the ability to hide securities, hide the minute book, hide entity notes, hide the entity documents. I can add as many as I want. So again, this is done on a request basis. Our developers will set it up for you. You just send through your request and say, hey, we would like the following to be set up. So we can add more sections, and then you would apply what sections they do and do not see, and then list it under that name role. So in this case, if you apply finance team view to a specific user, they will not see securities and they will not see the minute book. This is how we'd set it up on the back end. So again, you can apply read-only or user-only level access. So it would stem through whether you want them to read the information or actually work with the information, and then also what they see and what they do not see. Now, in this case here, I have a treasury team. You can see I have decided to hide, just example, you may not do this in real life, but I've hidden securities, the minute book, the entity notes, and the documents from this team. So when I go in and apply treasury or tax team view to a user, I will show you what that's going to look like. In the access section, you'll have that role apply. So in this case, we did tax team. Now, when I sign in as a tax team user with that role, this is what I'd see. So I've set this up with my email for you guys just to show you. And as you can see here, I still see everything in Athennian, but these sections are locked. So on this level user role, I have hidden securities and documents from this individual. I don't want them to go in there. I don't want them to see it. They can access the details and edit information in Athennian, but not the sections I've hidden. I've also hidden notes from them, which is really helpful. Sometimes our clients want to hide notes from lawyers or clients or things like that. You can set this up and apply it to the individuals. Again, documents have been hidden as well. So maybe you have interim documents that you don't put in your minute book, you can hide those in there. And that's it. If you guys are interested in seeing more, again, let us know. But I wanted to give you a bit of an overview of customization as a whole, what you can do in Athennian now. We're very excited. We have come a long way, and we really hope that you enjoy the features as much as we do. So yeah, I'm going to jump back into my presentation. Perfect. Please as well, remember to add in any questions. We'd be more than happy to run through them. But additionally, what will be coming soon as well is more structure chart navigation. We know it is not easy and it is not as functional right now to move in structure charts. That is a given, we understand that, and we're improving it daily. So as you know, we made a bunch of updates last month. We are continuing our updates, so keep an eye out for that. We'll be communicating what we're changing, how the data in charts varies in sizes across different clients. We'll be transforming the way you navigate these charts, so more will be coming. Look out for that. Additionally, we will be launching French translation. So as we know, a lot of our clients have Quebec users, Quebec offices. We are doing a proper French translation of the full app on the front end to make sure that it applies accurately when you do navigate and toggle the English to French button, and it translates that kind of front end. So keep an eye out for that. We're busy doing it right now and testing it as well. We have a couple of French translators that are going through different phrases and different words, make sure it's all properly translated. But that is going to be available very soon, and it will be available for all packages, essentials, professional, and enterprise. Okay, so enough from me. Let's look at the value this is going to bring. I have Tina here, like I had mentioned. She is very, very well versed with the fund ops industries. So Tina, I'm going to hand it over to you. I'd love to hear from you with everything we've kind of recapped. What do you think? What do you think it's going to do for teams? I know you have some stuff prepared, but I know you're excited too. So run us through what is top of mind.
Absolutely. Thank you so much to you both, Andrew and Charlotte. We're very excited to be rolling out these new features and updates to the product. And I've been serving our customers and working with them to really understand how they'll actualize this value from these updates. And one thing that we've noticed recently, and I'm sure many of you on today's webinar have gone through over the last few months, is the audit process. So we really think and we really see the value of simplifying that audit process with these updates. And with audit season in full swing, we really are seeing the importance of efficiency and accountability with various different teams and users. Now, during these audits, auditors may need to navigate through entity data to locate maybe relevant documents, organizational charts, or even financial records. So these improved structured chart navigations really simplify that process. We're really excited for those. Allowing those who are conducting the audits, maybe in the future, or as you're preparing quarterly statements, to quickly find the information that they need without wasting time on maybe manual searches or emails back and forth. And then in addition to that, a well-organized structure chart really provides auditors with a clear visualization of the organization's hierarchy and other relationships. And this helps them understand the context of the data that they're reviewing and really identify any discrepancies or irregularities in a much easier way. But some of the examples that I want to highlight for this process on a more practical level start off with the documentation review. So auditors may need to review various documents related to maybe portfolio companies if we're taking that fund ops view, but I really do think this applies to global ops and fund ops, including financial statements, maybe legal contracts, corporate governance documents, various regulatory filings. An entity management system like Athennian does store all these documents centrally, so it really allows the auditors to access and review the relevant documentation more efficiently. It also supports transactions and the analysis that's involved in it as well. Auditors have the ability to analyze transactions conducted by portfolio companies to assess their accuracy, compliance, regulatory standards, or maybe even potential financial implications. And Athennian can contain transactional data such as investment agreements, capitalization tables, and historical financial records, which auditors can then use for their analysis. It really does support data collection as well. So custom fields specifically allow organizations to capture additional information that may be relevant and unique to your own audit process. And such specific transaction details or maybe even compliance requirements, industry-specific metrics, it really is on a case-by-case basis. So we really do think this feature does enable a lot of value in this specific workflow. And this ensures that auditors have access to comprehensive and relevant data during the review, really allowing them, enabling them to assess the organization's compliance with maybe regulatory standards and internal policies in a much more efficient way. And they may also request information on the terms of loan agreements, equity investments, management agreements, and other contracts to assess the impact on the financial position and performance of the firm, which is a huge part of their audit. And then lastly, the most exciting part, integrations with other audit tools. So our open API really enables seamless integration between our entity management system and maybe even audit tools or softwares used by auditors. So I always like to make these webinars a little bit interactive. So feel free to drop some softwares or tools that you've been using this year for your audit process in the chat. We'd love to hear what's out there. We are serving some of our customers, but we have a lot of you on the call today, so feel free to shoot them in the chat. We see a lot of value here because it allows auditors to extract data directly from the system into their preferred audit software, really streamlining that audit process and reducing the risk of manual errors or any discrepancies in data transfers. So hopefully next year you're all set up for a very streamlined audit system. So the activation of this audit workflow really brings multiple teams onto the platform. So really expanding from legal, bringing in finance, tax, and maybe external audit teams to have access into the platform, all with different roles and responsibilities, of course. But what we really want to focus on here is the value that it specifically brings to various firms, organizations, and users, which will bring us to our second slide. There's three main themes that we focus on where we think the most value is derived from. And the first is enhanced security and compliance. So firms and organizations really benefit from these various features by mitigating the risk of data accessibility, protecting sensitive PII, and really ensuring adherence to regulatory requirements. And this is a transformation within the organization since it instills trust and confidence in Athennian, in the actual system, reassuring firms that their data is secure and their operations are very compliant with relevant laws and regulations. We know with CTA and fund transparency, there's a lot of buzz going around in the industry. So really staying up to date with data is essentially the first step in that process. And then the platform can begin to be rolled out as a self-service tool for other teams. Additionally, with the access and controls over relevant information, firms can really avoid any potential fines or legal repercussions that are associated with non-compliance. That saves your firms both time and money in the long run. The second theme is the ease of use and better decision making. So let's say we picture a smoother, more intuitive experience that simplifies your tasks and empowers your decision making process. And a well-organized structure chart, for example, provides auditors with a clear visualization of the hierarchy, the relationships, the business units involved. And this helps the auditors understand the context of the data that they're reviewing and identify any irregularities much more simply. And in the end, where we really find that value is streamlining the operations and achieving much better outcomes for your legal, finance, and tax teams and your bottom line as well. And then the last theme is a collaborative ecosystem, and it enables customers to leverage the expertise and resources of various stakeholders, really fostering that innovation and driving business success. And the ability to integrate with third-party tools and share data seamlessly enhances collaboration across various different teams, external partners, and even service providers, which we're all excited for. But it really does benefit and drive a lot of value for our customers by facilitating communication, more robust information sharing, and collective decision making. And this ecosystem empowers customers to capitalize on various different opportunities, mitigate risk, not completely eliminate risk, but work on mitigating risks and achieving their strategic objectives much more effectively. So if we had to sum all of that up, the enhanced security and compliance measures really bolster private equity firms specifically, safeguarding against data breaches or any legal risks while building trust with their investors and regulators, which is the main focus for these firms. And with streamlined navigation and intuitive interfaces like Athennian, teams can make more informed decisions effectively, really driving that business growth. And the collaboration piece really does harness that diverse expertise, fostering innovation, new integrations, and agility with our open AI API. And together, these benefits really empower our firms to seize opportunities, mitigate risks, and achieve strategic objectives while having that competitive edge during these various workflows, but with today's focus, specifically audits. So we really do see the value to be ever evolving for multiple teams. So we're excited for these new features to be available to all our customers.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you, Tina. And also I want to add to all of that too. And I just want to give everyone on the call some visual examples of what we mean when we're saying collaboration and better decision making and all of that. If you think about it, the data in Athennian can pretty much build anything. If we had to send through some of this information to, let's say, Looker Studio, or building graphs and pie charts and that kind of thing for people to look at, that might be decision makers or tax teams that might need to have key insights into, making a decision for an expansion or something like that. This API can build that for you. Also, if you think about tools like Slack or different SaaS software tools that a lot of the teams rely on today, if you had to send documents through, we can now send that. We can send through documents to additional tools, or from tools bring it into Athennian, which is huge. So if you have any questions with, maybe a workflow that's really cumbersome to you and your team, or you maybe see some potential to integrate into a specific tool like Microsoft Teams or something like that, let us know, and we can always take a look at it and kind of help you through that process and see what we can do, how we can build it, how we can try help you. There are a couple of things that are needed in terms of the API, so make sure you have a very strong developer or development team within your organization, or tech person to help you kind of maintain this. But we have Andrew available to demo things for you as well, if you're ever interested in seeing what is possible. And we can get that set up. So reach out to your CSM. We're more than happy to help. And then send through any questions that you might have, and we can kind of run through that towards the end of the deck. So thank you, Tina. That's awesome. All right, so kind of ending off, just additional news. We have upcoming updates. Last night was our update. Because of the holidays, we had to make a switch, so we updated last night. You would have seen it this morning in app. The Help Center is updated as well in terms of what went live. And then, like we had mentioned, the API is launched. The next update will be on the 11th of April at usual time, 6 p.m. EST. That's when you'll be seeing the latest product updates and bug fixes. And then the next webinar, again, we'll be hosting this every first Tuesday of every month. Next up is the 7th of May, so invites will be sent out to you and your team. Look forward. We have some pretty exciting things that I was thinking about mentioning in today's product update, but I haven't yet, so it's probably going to come in the next one. So look forward to that. We are definitely on the forefront of innovation when it comes to the kinds of things we're building, so we're excited to show that to you. And with that said, we're at the Q&A. So we're actually really good for time. Let's spend about 10 minutes running through any questions, and then we can end it there. Let me see. Try access them. All right. When will custom fields be available to us? Kathy, it is available. It's there. It's built. It's finished. So if you are interested in it, if you don't have access to it now, I would recommend reaching out to your CSM right away, and they can turn that on for you. There is a pricing discussion around it because you buy a bundle of 5. So chat to them, and then we can make that happen for you as well and help you set it all up. You can kind of pick which ones you want. I hope you're still on the call, Kathy, but yeah, we can do that. Then, thanks, Maya. I think you just changed my screen. I appreciate it. Next question, let me see. Please have her contact me. Okay, we will definitely, Ying will make sure that we get in touch with you. No worries, Kathy. All right. Oh, one more question. Can the API integrate with Slack? Like we had mentioned, we can look into it. So if you are interested in having it integrate with Slack or something like Microsoft Teams, let's look at how that would work and how that would move back and forth. But it is an open API, so if you had to build queries, you could pretty much integrate with anything. So if you had to shoot that through, like I said as well, Andrew has some really cool kind of demos and examples of how we push out information to what we call Google Looker Studio, which is like a graph visualization tool. So in a lot of applications today, when you sign in, if it's an on-premise entity software, they often kind of push through the forefront of, oh, you know, they have this data visualization within the app. But what we do is we allow you to build what you would like to see. So we don't limit you to just visualizing what we kind of restrict you to see in terms of graphs or data or that kind of thing. You can build custom dashboards for you and your team. So maybe your stakeholder wants to see how many entities are active, how many entities are pending, how many entities you dissolve. Maybe you want to have a look and see at how many entities you have in different regions, that kind of thing. You can build all of that. So if you're interested in learning more about it, let us know and we can build, can kind of demo it for you. And then we just need to get in touch with your dev team to see what you want to build. All right. I appreciate the new enhancements regarding charts edit visibility, but would like to see the variability on shareholding types i.e. all my shareholders, regardless of common, preferred, or other, are included in the overall percentage. When generating charts for certain instances. When exporting charts, multiple levels aren't visible. Time consuming, yes, agreed. We know, and there are things in the works. So with our little chart enhancements kind of blurb that we put up there, we are busy fixing all of these things. We are working on it. More communications will be coming. It's actually very exciting. We are working in tandem with a client to develop exactly what you need to see. So it is being tested and iterated as we go, which is kind of new in terms of how we process things. We usually build based on feedback and then we push it through and take more feedback. But with this situation, we're actually iterating while we are building with a very key client that wants to invest in the charting piece. So more will be coming on this, and as the monthly product updates roll through, you will be seeing changes specific to what you've mentioned that's going to impact your team a lot better. All right. I think that is it. Are there any other questions? Now is your time to ask. Can API work with tags? Yes, yes, it can. We can update tags on entities. We can update tags on people. We can send through things like compliance dates. We can update statuses. We can update things like share transactions, issuances, things like that. So please, if you have any specific workflows that you think, okay, this is very manual for me, every single year I need to send through a client annual letter that I sign. It gets sent through to the client and then we have to upload it. Instead of doing that, let's just build you a query, get the documents in. Every single year you run the cadence and boom, the docs are there. We have a bunch of integrations with DocuSign, that kind of thing as well, but the API opens up the door for you to build your own integrations. So the same way we work with iManage Now or DocuSign Now, you can work with whatever you choose with our API. So a lot of our clients as well, just as I'm thinking of this, let's say you have people information or director information in an HRIS system or a like a CRM tool that manages your human resources, and the address changes. If you have, you know, a regular cadence where you say, hey, every month I want to make sure I run this one workflow where if anything has changed, it updates in Athennian, you hit that button and boom, it's done. So you can kind of push through director updates if someone is retiring and your teams don't communicate well between each other, figure out a cadence, say, hey, every week we're going to update this, and then you can kind of connect the two systems and make sure that that updates, which we know is something that happens often as well. Maybe you have a CFO that updates security transactions in an Excel sheet, and instead of having that CFO send you the sheet and you manually go in and update all the transactions, just build a query with the API, hit a little button, your dev team can help set all of that up and manage it. And then once a month, the information can get updated depending on what information it is and what we can do. But it's pretty intuitive, and I think it's going to open a lot of doors for clients. It's just getting up and running and getting it started and managing it, and then it's smooth sailing from there onwards. Will there be enhancements to the ISC register to streamline? We have opened each one, very time consuming. Yes, we know. We have taken this feedback as well. I know it's been kind of within talks over the last couple of weeks, so we'll be reviewing that as a team. I don't have any exact details for you in terms of what we'll be doing or changing or anything like that, but we can take that away. And then your CSM can also touch base with the product team to make sure that if there is anything happening, we let you know. All right. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate your time. We will be sending this deck out. Again, we will be at the CLOC. Please, please, if you are there, please scan that QR code in the deck. Let us know. We'd love to see you. We want to hear from you as well in terms of what you like, what you don't like. So give us all that feedback. And then we'll be seeing you on May 7th for our next update. Tina, Andrew, thank you. Really appreciate your time and all your expertise. And yeah, thanks, everyone.